Well, this is the second video recap I'm going to do for my Eberron campaign going through the Rising from the Last War, um, or Shadow of the Last War campaign. Rising from the Last War, I think, is the 5e book. Either way, so last night, the Barbarian, the Wizard, the Monk, and the Fighter decided it was time for them to go and get the information that they were in the ruined town of Rose Quarry to acquire. After previously being chased out of town by a group of mercenary necromancers, they regrouped and sneaked back into the town by another route. So once they got in there, they immediately got separated. One of the characters, the barbarian, Brontgar, made an unfortunate turn and went through a graveyard and basically came face to face with a vampire that had snuck up on him. While that was happening, the other three went down the main road, and two of them both tripped and fell, alerting a zombie, a glass zombie, to come shambling out of one of the buildings to see what the noise was. What followed was basically Brontgar running one way, distracting the vampire and the two zombies that were with him. The other three going into the building that the glass zombie had come out of to investigate, and finding that there was two soldiers in there. They were excavating the floor, basically breaking the glass off of it. The party realized that the floor that was being exposed was a map, and they looked around the room and they found several statues, and they had to do all this while they were fighting because there was an alarm that had been set off. Kind of, the vampire was basically threatening to go and get some of the soldiers. They were on a time crunch because it's get the information and get out or die, because they were outnumbered 3 or 4 to 1 by people who were in a camp about 100 feet away from the building. So they proceeded to deal with the two soldiers in the building. They excavated part of the floor rather quickly and found a couple of crests engraved into the floor of House Cannith, which is one of the Eberron Dragonmark houses. And after they examined the room further, they found 3 fireplaces made of 3 different types of stone, 3 different colors. And beside each of the fireplaces, it was flanked by a statue, 6 different animals, 3 red, 3 black, 3 white. After doing a quick examination of the statues, they found on the back of the statues' heads were basically the names of a location and a direction and a number. They thought about it for a minute, and they ended up having to deal with zombies at the same time, but eventually decided that the location they were looking for is White Hearth, and they had to find it. So they found the statue who had White Hearth, or it had White Hearth written on it, and it had white and then a number and a direction. So they went to the white crest, stepped off that number of steps, and they ended up standing on the map of Corvair, and directly beneath their feet was basically a crossed shovel and pickaxe. It was marking the location of a mine. The party, deciding that that was the location of White Hearth, then tried to escape the town. Now, when this happened, more of the soldiers and some of their skeletons showed up, and the party scrambled again. 3 of them made it out of the town, taking some amount of damage as they fell down the now collapsed road. And the 4th one, the Wizard, got knocked out by a soldier about 20 feet away from being able to make an escape. The Wizard did manage to make all of his saves from death, and so he was just unconscious. And for some reason unknown to the party, the vampire found him and decided not to kill and or, I don't know, use him as food. So he was able to get up. They managed to save him. He came conscious with 1 HP. The vampire essentially let him go, and he managed to slip back out of town. And after all that, that is where the session ended for the night. They decided that they're going to try to at least rest up. They have about, it's pre-midnight, and they've got until noon the next day for the person who brought them there before he leaves them. So they're going to regroup with him in the next session and see if they can either convince him to take them somewhere else, or I'm not exactly sure what their plan is, but we're going to find out.